moments after we got off the air yesterday, the judge in the Ellisville mayor case reinstated Adam Paul to his full-fledged mayorship. He reinstated him while he looked over the documents, and yesterday, right after the show, reinstated him. Ellisville Mayor Adam Paul back in as mayor and back on the show. Adam, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
He's flanked by his attorney, Chet Pleban, who has been there from the beginning in what can only be described as a bizarre story. First, let's start with you, Adam Paul. It's now over, right? I mean, it's all over. It's finished. You're mayor. You're going to finish out your first term.
Yes. Yesterday was a special day for me, as you can imagine. Nobody can deny the fundamental importance of due process, and nobody can deny the fundamental importance of Chet Pleban. So I'm just thrilled to have him.
Excuse me.
Let's not go there. Holy mackerel.
Excuse me. I didn't hear that.
You mentioned, you've been on the show numerous times, and we've been following this from the beginning. You mentioned numerous times the toll it has taken on your family, and your kids have to watch the evening news and say all these bad things that, why, Daddy, what is going on? Any reaction from the kids and the wife and the family?
Well, the kids are still a little bit too young, but I just give all the love to my wife and the supporters in Ellisville, and my boss, Jeff Scholes, for giving me the flexibility to go to the hearings and to come on your show. It's just been a 360 support from every avenue. Like I said before, no one's ever come up to me and said, we want you to resign. Why don't you just walk away? It's always been the antithesis to keep fighting and keep moving forward and doing the right thing. So
one tip, if you're going to thank your boss, you should probably mention the company you work for.
Well, I think it's inappropriate to mention the company.
All right, so I tried to give him a softball there. All right, Chet Pleban, what did the judge rule yesterday?
He decided that there was such procedural improprieties that he really didn't have to get to the substantive issues. The issues, for example, of is it an impeachable offense to ask if you get a badge? Is it an impeachable offense to ask a question on behalf of a constituent? Those kind of ridiculous sorts of issues, he didn't have to reach the merits of those because procedurally, what they did to Adam was they told us at the very start of the hearing, the very day of the hearing, they amended the allegations. They added a new one. We didn't have a chance. We get a certain period of time to request a hearing, a certain period of time to prepare the defense. They didn't give us that opportunity. And so procedurally, it's a problem.
It's a problem.
This is the irony. The irony is that they accuse Adam Paul of violating the charter, and that's why we're there. Yet they violate the charter by bringing him to trial. That's what gets it reversed.
Trying to impeach him, they
violate their own charter.
Violate the charter, and,
right.
And the judge reinstates him.
Right.
Matt Perillo, who was the lead opposition, he might question that, said in that chair after you were temporarily reinstated that he would work with you as much as he could and he would let all of this go away. Since you were partially reinstated, has that happened? You might have disagreed on certain issues, but has it been better since you were temporarily reinstated?
Not really. I'll be quite honest with you. I mean, it's been a contentious issue. It's been an elephant in the room. But he did make a statement that he would resign if I was reinstated, and I believe yesterday I was permanently reinstated. So, that's obviously his prerogative, but. It'll always be an elephant in the room. I'm just glad to be in the captain's chair again, and it's all about the residents, being the voice of the people and being back in that chair and being able to vote on issues that our residents are opposed to. So that's what it's all about.
I asked him that question. He was quoted as saying that he would resign if you were reinstated. Here is that interview from a few weeks ago. Listen to this.
The city forward.
You were quoted as saying, Matt Perillo, that if he was back as mayor, you would resign.
Let's get that quote right, McGraw.
Please, that's
Let's
why you're here.
Let's get that quote right. I did, in fact, say that I would resign, but I did not say if he was temporarily reinstated. The comment that I made was if a judge overrules the city's petition to have him removed from office, overrules that, and reseats him permanently, that I would, in fact, resign.
So you're still sticking by that comment?
Well, for now, sure. But don't forget, I mean, come on, I'm a politician, for crying out loud.
So you reserve the right to change your mind?
Well, doesn't everybody?
Well, yes. I just want to make sure this is where we are.
Clear. No, I made that comment, and I think that I think that if a judge overturns our decision, it's well, I just don't know exactly how a judge could overturn the decision, but I have to respect the with regard to this judge's order, the temporary order, I have to respect that. I will respect that, and I'm not going to run any interference with regard to that.
So that is Matt Perillo when you were temporarily reinstated. After hearing that, any comments to that?
Well, like I said, it's ultimately it's his prerogative. Ideally, there's some unfinished business. Anytime a city wastes that kind of money on an impeachment hearing, and they let it run its course without following procedure, something needs to be done. An investigation needs to be done. Obviously, we've stated from the beginning that I've done nothing wrong, and it's transpired into what it is today. And ultimately, I'm reinstated permanently.
Here's a 32-year-old young man who has no political experience, runs for office, gets elected.
He does now.
Ellisville. He does. He's got a lot. I mean, it was a bloodbath of fire, believe me. And so he comes in, and I'm firmly convinced, based upon what we saw, that what they were going to do was they were going to bring in those two bogus charges that Katie James was going to file, prepared by Martin, the city attorney, and they thought he'd cut and run. But to his credit, he didn't. And he stuck it out, and he said, you know what, if you're going to try to remove me, then I'm going to resist that. And we've said from the very beginning of this thing that all we wanted was a fair shake. All we wanted was a fair and objective fact finder to look at these issues and judge them accordingly. And we're not afraid to defend the case, but we can't do it with a body that's prejudged, like that former counsel.
The cost of this impeachment so far is over $100,000?
Easily. I believe it's an epic waste of taxpayer dollars. It definitely took a couple years off of my life, but who cares about those years?
Right.
But the majority,
to the end, so don't worry about it.
But the majority of that expense was the PR firm listening to Millhaven show.
That's okay. I don't mind that. I need all the help I can get.
I think that's 75%. I don't know.
This all got started because of the TIF and the people wanting it, and this fight in Ellisville over this Walmart TIF. Where does that stand now, Adam Paul?
Well, the Walmart TIF is the Walmart project with Sandstone is tied up in the Court of Appeals, and that's expected to be discussed and debated in the Court of Appeals, and then potentially even the Supreme Court. If they don't hit the September deadline, it will go back through the conditional use permit process, as the conditional use permit will expire after 1 year. Also, I believe Sandstone hasn't met several obligations that he's contractually obligated to in the redevelopment agreement. So the Walmart project will always be a fight. It'd be criminal if I changed my mind on that. I think the residents would get their pitchforks and riot in front of my house. So I'll always be the voice of those people, and that's solely, I believe, that why I'm here today is because I ran an anti-TIF, no Walmart campaign.
This 4-3 vote the other day, where the one city councilwoman said that she felt intimidated, and that's why she voted the certain way she voted. What was that vote for? And take us through that for a second.
Well, that was an advisory ordinance. Essentially, it just authorized the issuance of TIF notes. Nothing in that ordinance said anything that our redevelopment agreement didn't already say. I believe that Sandstone needed it probably for to get Walmart to sign the lease to feel out the political climate. But the problem I have with that is Attorney John Hessel, who is representing Sandstone, was leveling threats of individual lawsuits. And as most people know, there's something called legislative immunity. Elected officials can't get sued based off their vote. Now, if Sandstone met those obligations based on the redevelopment agreement, then we would have to issue those TIF notes. Otherwise, he would sue the pants off us. And that's what it came down to. It didn't have to be approved then. So there was no hurry because it is tied up in the appellate courts, and it was clearly a enabling ordinance for Sandstone for one reason.
So going forward, we're not going to see the bulldozers. We're not going to see the people moving out as of yet. This is still very much in question, whether or not this TIF and this Walmart will be built on Clarkson and Manchester.
Absolutely, and I'm quite sure that he hasn't even acquired the property that the Walmart's going to go in at. So
right. Yeah.
There's a lot of
There's also next to that, there's that idea for the Ellisville Town Hall. Is that going forward?
The Ellisville Town Center is what is in our comprehensive plan for the huge empty car dealerships lots. A lot of people think that's where the proposed Walmart's going to go. It's not. It's going west, where 23 apartment complexes and 3 businesses are currently located. As far as the new city hall, they were looking at potentially purchasing the former Mercedes car dealership, which ironically left for the city for a TIF.
Right.
So, I mean, if that doesn't give you a rundown of what TIF does, but those plans have been halted. We have a town hall meeting to discuss plans for a new city hall.
If somebody was thinking about moving to Ellisville Mayor Adam Paul, what would you tell them?
Well, Ellisville's a great community. I think its name's been dragged through the mud over this process, but our people are amazing, and they've stood by my side. I could have been Edward Snowden and ran out of town and a man without a city because I believe those allegations were not only intended to have me resign, but I believe they were intended to destroy me, to run me out of town. Anytime you have allegations such as belligerent alcoholic and confidential information leaker, what have you, those types of charges aren't just to have you removed out of the political machine or a municipality's agenda. Those are meant to shut you up and to kick you out. And it very well could have gone the other way, but I didn't sit on my hands and I decided to fight. So I would tell people that want to move to Ellisville, continue to move. We're open for business. We're open for residents. We're a great community in West County, and it's time to start the healing process.
Unlike Eric Snowden, you did not leak classified NSA information.
No, I did not.
Okay, good. I just want that on the record. Is this over with now? This is over with, right?
No. Well, this portion is.
Okay,
yeah. This chapter goes. Well, I mean, fortunately now, he's describing a situation at that last council meeting. You got a lawyer up there representing, I guess, Sandstone, threatening this council, threatening to sue the council. You got a city attorney, now former city attorney, who's sitting there, I guess, sucking his thumb. It's not talking about governmental immunity and letting this guy wax on. You got a council person who now is threatened and intimidated to the extent that she votes in favor of what this guy is threatening to do if she doesn't. So, you have a dysfunctional sort of system. And now, I think, now that Adam is back, permanently now, whether or not Perillo remains, I guess we'll see if he's good to his word. But hopefully they'll get back on track. But we still have pending the issues dealing with the damages that Adam sustained based upon the conduct that we've alleged in the petition, the civil suit of Perillo, the city attorney, and the city manager, and the citizen who signed the complaint against Adam at the outset. So that's pending.
That is Chet Pleban, attorney for reinstated permanent Ellisville Mayor Adam Paul. It's takeaway, temporary takeaway, impeached, suspended, whatever it is. Now just Ellisville Mayor Adam Paul. Mayor Paul, thank you very much for coming in. We always appreciate your honesty and you coming in and coming in every time we ask. Mr. Chet Pleban, I'm sure we'll see you down the line.
Do me one favor, please.
Yes.
If you're going to take that boat out on the Lake of the Ozarks, would
Yeah.
you please give me a call?
Just
let me know.
I will
Just
put a
let me
Twitter
know.
out for everybody.
Thank you
Beware.
thank you very
I'm on Lake of the Ozarks,
Thank
ladies
you.
and gentlemen. I don't know why you're upset. I can only sink. I almost ran myself over with my boat.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the next victim, though.
922 here on the Big 550 KTRS.